Good evening, folks. I'm sorry about all of the technical issues lately. Unreal, man. I thought everything was sorted. So I use OBS Studio, right, as my how you're seeing me. I use that so that I can do like kind of this type of stuff. So that if I want to show you cards, pull a spread, or whatever it is. I've basically got two cameras, and I use OBS Studio to bring them together and stuff. And you know how sometimes when you go to use something on your computer, like you go to start like StreamYard or Zoom or anything that's using your camera, sometimes you get an error message saying, "Oh, something else is trying to use your camera. We can't use it right now. There's an error." That was happening there, and I was like, literally, and it was because OBS Studio was obviously using it, but I was using OBS Studio was pulling the camera, and I'm trying to tell StreamYard to use OBS Virtual Camera as my camera, so it shouldn't be an issue, but it was, and I was getting a bit stressed out trying to work out what the hell I needed to do. But what I've had to do is use another browser rather than Chrome, and that seems to have sorted the issue. So yeah, but last time I was live, there was technical issues as well because StreamYard was having a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, not great. So oh gosh, I'm like 15 minutes late. How has that been 15 minutes? I don't even know how. Like 15 minutes has gone by without me even realising. But anyway, that's why I'm late. Apologies. Hope you're all good. Let's see. I'm very excited. I seem to have this top fan thing. Can you all see that in the chat? So Ferdiad, you were first here, and it says that you're top fan number 1. Like you've got a little wee badge thing on my screen, but I don't know if you see that as well. Magdalena, you're here as well. Hi there, how you doing? Tony, you're here. Chris is here. Hi Chris, how you doing? Roscoe, hi Roscoe. Saoirse, it's lovely to see you. I've not seen you in ages. Say hello there. Rose, the long dog, and I are journeying in Wales. We'll listen whilst we do a few errands and then find a parking spot for the night in our camper van. Looking forward to listening. Oh, well, it's lovely to have you. I hope you're doing okay. Fairdead says, this is why I'm not sure if I can be trusted with a spanner. Oh, Tony said to Chris, I accidentally hit your name and it says I deleted your message. Hope I didn't put you out or anything. Deanne's here. Hi, Deanne. Tony and Fairdead need a note to themselves not to touch the screen. Chris says, last time I ran a spanner, I took it a little too seriously. It became a side job in my mind. Well, there's no, it's definitely not a side job here. There's very little for the spanners to do, which makes it ironic that I have so many spanners. I think we're pretty safe here. Everyone seems well behaved. And then Fairdiad says, yeah, Chris is probably the naughtiest and it's his channel. To be fair, that's probably about right. Forever We're After is here. Hi there, rainy day. Yeah, we're the same. It's been pissing it down with rain here. Deanne says, I'm here at the park, so not drawing cards, but I'm here to see your handsome face. I don't know how handsome my face is. I certainly don't feel very handsome today, but thank you. I don't know why I'm reading it off there for a change. Not just doing it my usual way on StreamYard, where I can actually highlight what I'm talking about. Chris should just make this part of the show, messing around with technology. I know. I mean, ideally, I don't really want to have to mess about with anything. It stresses me out. Used to see me yesterday, so like my old phone, which is what I use for the table camera, was being a bitch. Basically, it kept crashing and restarting itself. So yesterday, the day before, through the week, I did like a factory reset on it. Basically, so it would start behaving itself again, and it wouldn't be crashing whilst I'm doing this. But it meant that that's basically started from scratch, and I've had to get Droid Cam, which is the kind of a link to OBS. I've had to get Droid Cam on it again, and then I've had to link them from scratch, which you would think would be very easy, but it's not been, just because I don't know if it's this PC or if it's just the way that OBS and Droid Cam work. They're a bit dicky. But yeah, I was having an absolute nightmare of a time trying to sort it out and pair them. But I spent a good hour on it yesterday and lost my shit. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I went with, and Sandy, my husband, he had a go at it and he managed to get it sorted for me. So I'm being brought to you today thanks to Sandy being the tech support of the house and sorting my Droid Cam and, you know, sorting everything for me. But it stresses me out trying to get things. See, when I don't know why things aren't working, when I'm doing the same stuff that I usually do, but it's not working for reasons I don't know, it stresses me out, so it does. Because if I don't know what the issue is, I don't know how to fix it. The XP is a fun feature. So Diane saying, I do see it and I've climbed the ranks somehow. You've climbed the ranks to number 2, so you have. I wonder what decides whether you're number 1, number 2, number 3. Like, how does it decide? If I click this top fans button. Yeah, so what Chris says, it's like each person's got an amount of XP. This is blowing my mind. I don't know how that works. Yeah, you've got a little crown. No worries, Chris. We were having a chat before you got through the tangled vines of technology. Yeah. Beth from Aspasia Rising is here, about to start a tabbouleh garbanzo salad for a neighbourhood party tomorrow. I detest fireworks, so I'm eating and going. Yeah, I hate fireworks now as well. Does anyone else who has dogs all of a sudden hate fireworks because they terrify your dogs? Because before I didn't have any strong feelings on them. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be one of those people who goes out to people with fireworks and starts shouting at them or anything like that. But like, secretly in my head, I now detest anyone that's especially outside of like kind of a usual fireworks time. So like, unless it's like New Year or Guy Fawkes night, anyone who's letting off fireworks here, because we don't do the 4th of July thing, you know, I just completely don't have time for that. Because my poor dogs are terrified and they think the whole world's going to shit. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Oh, thank you. And do you know, actually at the start I should have made sure that my audio and everything was working, but you can obviously hear what I'm saying. Or it would have been clear by now, I would hope. Let's see. Jen's here. Hi Jen, how are you? It's lovely to see you. Ferdinand says, good gods, I could never be a streamer. Yeah, I bet you could. You would be absolutely fine, Ferdinand. Once you get to grips with all of the stuff, like for the most part, it works fine. It's just when things like this happen where you need to refresh stuff or whatever it is, that's when it becomes a pest. The salad sounds great. The pets in my life have never liked fireworks. Yeah. The crown numbers change as the live goes on too. It must be to do with like how much you're engaged and stuff like that, I would assume. Maybe we're arranged in descending age. It's fair to add, so you said that you're the oldest because you're number one. Click the question mark for more information, chat, super chat, stickers, etc. I thought I needed to be like I don't think I've got super chat or anything like that, because I'm not a monetized channel or anything. But as far as I'm aware, I'm not. I don't know, maybe StreamYard have just decided to go, not StreamYard, maybe YouTube are going to start paying me loads of money. That'd be good, wouldn't that? Tony's jumping between 2 and 3. Fireworks are bad for many things. They're so intrusive. Set them off in your house and leave me out of it. Yeah, good point. I used to live just off Byers Road, and it was like the Blitz around Guy Fawkes with kids chucking fireworks around. Yeah, I can imagine. I went to uni. I went to Glasgow Uni, which was just off Byers Road. Emmy's here. I'm happy to catch the live. It's lovely to have you, Emmy. Very strict laws here around fireworks. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I don't even know what our laws are, to be honest with you, but I don't think they're really enforced, because I feel as though there's been fireworks going off all year this year. And maybe it's always been like that, but I'm just much more conscious of it because it sets the dogs off every time. Kay's here. Hi, Kay. Finally a day off to catch the chat. It's lovely to have you. Hope you're doing okay. Chain of many names. Simon's saying he's so late. Simon, you're not really, because I was 15 minutes late again because, again, technology issues. This time it was to do with my OBS and the way it was linking up to my StreamYard. Totally separate from what happened last time when I was live a few weeks ago. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I always worry that that's dead loud. See if I don't mute when I sneeze, that it's dead loud into the camera. Let's see. Ferdiad says, I went to Glasgow Uni 2 from 90 to 95, so probably before you were born. No, I was born in 88. So, no, not before I was born. So, you're not that old if you were at uni between 90 and 95, Ferdiad. What are you talking about? When was I at uni? I was at uni between 2006 and 2011. So does that mean you're probably about 16 years or so older than me? So you're still a wee young thing, is what we're saying? Yeah, don't worry. You didn't really. You just missed me bitching about technology as usual. Great new decks for the month. To Simon. I've actually got some stuff that came in the post today that I've not even opened yet. So I've got some stuff to unbox with you today, which I know I don't do very often on lives. But I thought I would treat you, since I love you to bits, and since I want to give back to you and all that. Oh, I just got to pop on myself. Okay, I misread that. I thought that said something about pooping yourself. I do apologise. I'm sure that you didn't poop yourself. It's not the age, it's the it's not the age, it's the mileage. Let's not talk about age. Someone on Facebook just pointed out that Madonna started her Blonde Ambition tour 35 years ago today. I remember it like it was yesterday. That must have been in 1989 then. Chris is excited about packages. I know, Chris, you love a good package, don't you, Chris? A Chris unboxing, rare indeed. Do we spy a win this Emporium? We do. And this I should probably be careful not to show addresses and all that, shouldn't I? But this was actually very, very kindly sent by Cheryl. So it was because she wanted to send me the deck, basically. So I have to start off by saying, I know she's not here, but just in case she watches back later, thanks very much to Cheryl for this, because she sent it to me because she knew I would like, the deck that she's sending. She knows that I like these kind of decks, and she just sent it to me because, which is just really, really sweet. She's obviously running a business and doesn't have to do things like that, but that's the kind of person that Cheryl is. So yeah, really, really nice. So I've got a Oneness Emporium package, and I've also got a box from the Heebie Jeebie shop, which is like, I'm going to be honest with you, I can't fully remember exactly everything that I've bought, but it will be like crystals and things like that. So what do we think? What do we want to see opened first? Oneness or Heebie Jeebie? Do we want to see tarot, or do we want to see crystals first? Should we open the crystals and then the tarot, or the other way about? What do we think? Does anybody have a preference? Vote in the chat. What do you want to see first? Simon says Oneness, and she is lovely. Let's see that woo blank. Oneness is my vote. Crystal. I think we're 2 for 2, aren't we? Crystals. Oneness. 3 for 3. Oh, I should have done a proper Heebie Jeebie. Okay, crystals. Oneness. Chris is going for crystals. So Heebie Jeebie's in the lead right now, but only by one. One that I right, Simon, you're cheating. You've voted twice. If only you had some form of divination to let you decide. I know. I actually do have some pendulums there. I tell you what, let's do Heebie Jeebie shop first, only because when I open the Oneness package, I'm probably going to show you it's a deck of cards, I think. So I'm probably going to go through. That'll take a wee bit longer to show you, right? So why don't we do it that way? I'll show you the stuff from Heebie Jeebie purely because I think that's going to be a wee bit quicker. Take a drink of my coffee. Actually, I'm drinking, I think it's a vanilla coffee with oat milk. What's everybody else got? Move that to the side, turn on the light and get you the table camera. Or does that bit work? Yeah, that kind of works well actually. And then in terms of, yeah, that's very good. Right, I'm just going to take off my address. I mean, obviously the people that are here, doesn't bother me if you see my address, but because this is going to be public. Right. Right, I've got a pair of scissors here that I can use. So yeah, the Heebie Jeebie shop goes live every Monday on YouTube, and then sometimes they go live on Sunday to kind of sell some of their more, they call it their witchy nights, so they'll kind of go through their tarot decks and their incense and just some of their different stuff, whereas their Monday night lives tends to be for like their crystals and that. Sorry, that's dead loud. So you can see it's beautifully presented. Nice wee tissue with the wee EBGB logo and thank you for your order on top. Everything's always packaged really well, really safely and stuff. Like, as you can see. So let's see. Oh yeah, she had like new incense. So she did. So this is Palo Santo and white sage incense, but I'm sure she was showing us, and I'm sure the incense sticks themselves are dead thick. Unless this is something that smells beautiful. I've not actually lit an incense today, so I might light one of these. That's actually not what I was expecting. So it is just a normal incense stick. It's not any thicker. She was showing other ones that were like really chunky, and I thought that was what I was getting. But I mean, still, white sage and Palo Santo, it smells beautiful. So let me throw that to the side and get that on. Actually, got this. I showed you this kind of a column. Just make sure that when I open it, I do it over the bin because it opens like and all the ash just falls out. Which is a wee bit of a design flaw, but never mind. Oh, by the way, I didn't say, I did put it in my Facebook group, but I didn't like kind of say it publicly, so I don't know if everyone that's here will know, but apologies about last week. I was scheduled to go live, and then at last minute I had to cancel it. My gran died on the Thursday, so I was due to go live, and then earlier on in the Thursday, I got the note that I had to walk to the hospital. Because she wasn't in a good way, and by the time I got to the hospital, she passed away. So it was a shame. I'm quite sad. She was 90, and she did have dementia. So, she lived a great life. But that's why I cancelled the live at the last minute last week. And actually, one of the things that I've got here, so I've got like a wee friender, like a wee kind of a table for my loved ones that have passed away, and like I have like wee things on there that are just like I'll have bought a wee crystal if it makes me think of my dad, or like I've got pictures of my dad and my other gran who died a few years ago on there. So yeah, one of the things that's in this box from HeebieJeebie is for my gran that just died. So anyway, yeah, sorry. Yeah, put on. So I think this is the thing that I'm talking about. It comes with a stand, so it does. I'll need to work out how it sits on that though. Yeah, so this is quite chunky actually. So this is like a rose quartz heart, which is really nice. It's really pretty, and it's a chunky thing as well. Look at the size of that, and it's really heavy. I need to watch I don't drop it because I got this beautiful selenite palm stone, but then it fell off the table and a big chunk came out of it, as you can see. And it's fine. I don't mind because it's still quite pretty. Do you know what I mean? Depending how the light catches it, that's actually quite nice. But it's obviously quite annoying, and I don't want that to happen with us. So I think that's it like that. Yeah, I think that will sit in that like that. So yeah, that'll go on my ofrenda for my gran, and that's what that was for. My bin bag is full, which is annoying. I got this. This is just a wee 80 pence fire quartz tumblestone. Really pretty. Oh, you. And the dog's here nosing at my packages. So that's really nice. I didn't even get this for any particular reason. Oh, that almost looked like there was like liquid moving about in that there. I think it's not. I think it's just the way the light hits it, which is quite cool actually. But yeah, that's a wee bit of fire quartz. So I will pop that. It can sit on one of my decks. And then, what's this? I've forgotten what this is. It's shocking, isn't it? You buy these things and then you forget what you bought. And then I'm just opening it live on YouTube, not knowing what that is. It's like a big crystal dildo or something like that. It's not. It's a bit of raw amethyst. I remember it now. I remember buying it now. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I really like stones like that. I've got a bit of quartz as well that's kind of like that, and it's like I like it. Just like the texture of them, and I like sitting. So I said this a few weeks ago to you. It almost feels like a stress toy type thing, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to let it hit the light so you can see it, because it's showing up on the camera quite dark, but it's not as dark as it looks. So yeah, it's beautiful. I'll pop that up there just now. So, and that was everything that I got from Oneness. From the Heebie-Jeebie shop. So that's Lainey, a lady called Lainey that runs the Heebie-Jeebie shop, and she's a lovely, lovely person. So thank you, Lainey. If you ever watch this back, I really appreciate that. Let's see. I'm just going back through the comments before I move on to the Oneness box. Deanne says, sorry for my delayed hellos. I'm standing out in the sun with my phone and an iced coffee and a black dress like a chubby taro Barbie. You do not dare call my Deanne chubby. You're not. You're an absolute fucking stunner. Taro Barbie, I think, is what you meant when you typed that. That must have just been a wee autocorrect incident. Don't make us use the spanner. Crystal's the yeah, I saw that for pucker chai with oat milk over here. Oh, so that's what you're drinking. It doesn't work against another spanner 50 ad. Iced caramel latte, half flavour with almond milk. What do you mean half flavour? Roscoe is drinking a Corona. Oh, very nice. A wee beer. It's not often we get somebody saying they're drinking a beer. I don't really drink a lot of beer myself, although a wee Corona can be nice. Especially like a nice Corona out the fridge on a hot day with a bit of lime in it. Beautiful. The internet is forever, says Simon. Cesar Nicholas T here. Very nice. Okay. Oh, I saw the link you posted and saw crystal animals. Yeah. So she sells like different wee crystal animals. They're cool. And she posts as well, Simon. So if you ever saw something that you wanted, that you liked, because she sold she sells things that I see and I think of you. So like wee frogs and stuff, and like crystal frogs, and I don't know why frogs. Frogs, I think, because you've got like titty frog. But but there's been other stuff too that just doesn't spring to my mind right now. Just got a lovely Om Tarot in the mailbox. I never picked it by name, but I fell in love seeing your walkthrough. Very nice. Oh, thank you, my wee gran. Hashtag Chubby Tarot Barbie comes with 3 beautiful tarot decks, a svelte black dress, a pendant evil eye, and a small poochie dog. Reading sets, all sold separately. Absolutely no need to apologise, and much love and sympathy. Thank you. Really sad to hear. I know it is sad. Someone, especially when she's lived for so long and she's always been like, I mean, I'm 36 years old. And my grand's always been there. So I don't know if you remember, but when I was showing the snake staff when I was last live, that was that gran. Like, that was that gran that got me that. And I can't remember if I was talking about when my granda pulled the head off my dinosaur when I was wee, because I hit him with it, and my gran sewed the head back on. That was the same gran. Always sad to lose loved ones, whether the time or not. I know you're right. Yeah, the heart is beautiful. Grans are a leap to a completely different generation. So important to see their worldview. Thanks, Chris. Very tactile, so that's see, maybe goth tarot Barbie is what you meant. The right side is flavoured, but not the left. Yeah, half flavour, I don't get that. Non-alcoholic version, but tastes the same. Oh, the Corona, right, okay. They do, so in Lidl, they do a beautiful non-alcoholic cider. It's a strawberry and lime flavoured cider. I don't know what they make it. It's like one of the Lidl's own kind of a type brands. And it's like it's a kind of a dark brown bottle with a black label, but it's got like a blue outline. It's really, really nice, delicious. Like just half the amount of caramel. I like to taste the coffee. Right, okay, I've got you. Titty Bunny. Right, okay. Are you thinking of Slapper Frog? Yeah, sorry, I probably am. I thought you'd called it Titty Frog before. Am I making a mistake? Let's see. My go-to at the minute is a grande iced latte, triple shot of coffee, half sugar, free caramel, and half hazelnut. Delicious. Sounds nice, Roscoe. Hi, Chris and everyone. Beautiful crystals. Thanks, Sandra. Oh yeah, before I forget and move too far away from the topic, so the date for my grand's funeral has been set for Friday the 18th, which is 2 weeks tomorrow. So I'm probably not going to go live 2 weeks today, just because I don't think I'm going to feel like it the day before my grand's funeral, but also I'm not sure whether they're going to have it. It's Catholic, so I'm not sure whether they'll be having a service where she goes into the chapel the night before. We don't think that that's going to happen because the priest who usually, the priest who's, so the church where she's, her funeral is, the normal priest is off and it's being covered by a nearby priest, but that's actually really nice because it's Father Andrew, who's the priest who buried my dad. Not buried him, but did his funeral. So I'm actually really happy that it's the same priest that's doing this service. But it does look like it means that she can't have the service the night before and go into the chapel the night before, which I think she wanted. But then I don't know if anyone in the chat, sorry, this is getting quite somber talking about funerals and stuff, but I don't know if any of you have ever had that where you've had like a kind of a Catholic type funeral for a loved one, and they go into the dog's barking, and they go into the chapel the night before, but it just feels strange. Like they did it with my granda, this grand's husband, and he died 18 years ago, and it was just odd, like being in the chapel themselves all night. Don't know, you just feel like you don't want to leave them there. But anyway, so yeah, the point in that was I'm not going to be live 2 weeks today because the funeral is the next day. I have to feed the foster kittens, but the cat that hates them just curled up on me. I don't want to offend them, so the kittens are going to have to wait a bit. Oh, poor kittens. Sandra's saying hi to everyone. She's doing all her hellos. Just made a coffee with French vanilla creamer. Oh, very nice. Very fancy, Tony. I've been drinking cold brew herbal tea in the heat wave, says Ferdiad. Good to have the older cat relaxed. Jen says, look after yourself and do what you need for you. Thanks, Jen. Jen was raised Catholic, but I've not heard of that before. Yeah, that's something that we do here. So we have a service the night before the funeral, like a quick, maybe like a half-hour service. And that's when the coffin gets taken into the church. And then the coffin sits in the church overnight. Then the funeral the next day, and then it gets taken in to the cemetery and they get buried. That's how we normally do it. But then I say normal, but I mean that's not what happened with my dad, because my stepmom didn't want my dad sitting in the chapel by himself. So I don't think it's always like that, but that, as I understand it, that's kind of the way it's been done. That was part of my upbringing, says Ferdiad. I never thought it was strange. It's just a West of Scotland Catholic thing, or is it just a West of Scotland Catholic thing, or do other traditions do it? Exactly as men said, exactly as Jen said, you do what you need for yourself. Yeah. Jen, not men. It's another nickname for you, Jen. It must be a Scottish thing, not a thing in the US either. There you go. Right, well, I will go back to the table and I'll open this package from Oneness. Again, let me just do this so I'm removing the address. Do that. So beautiful wee box. Oh, it's packaged really nicely. As always, with Cheryl. Oh. And I've got the envelope, and I've got the witch's rune. So I don't know what this rune is, but I know that that's Jupiter. I know that that is fire. I think it's Sagittarius there. Oh, harvest. There we go. So on the back it tells you a bit about it. So these are Cheryl's kind of rune cards that she's creating. And the deck that I've got is the Agatha All Along Tarot deck and guidebook. So this is the deck from the Marvel series Agatha All Along. There's an episode in it that's all tarot, like, or that's that's based around tarot. It's like the maybe second last or third last episode in season 1. If anyone's wanting to go and look for it, I would recommend the series in general. By the way, it is really, really good. But yeah, that was a particularly good episode. So I'm not sure if this is the actual deck that they used in that episode, or if this is just a deck that's based on, that series. I suppose we'll find out. See, Simon, I would say it's worth a watch. If you like that kind of thing, so if you're into like kind of the Marvel shows, like superhero type shows, then definitely. Oh, actually, that goes really nice with that amethyst crystal. Then definitely watch the whole season. If not, if that's really not your type of thing, then I would still definitely say watch the episode, because it's pretty decent. Like, how we're always looking and thinking, they're just, that's just a whole, the death card means death type thing, and 10 of swords means 10 swords are getting stabbed in your back. It's not. It really does justice to tarot, so it does. And there's a spread in it that I've actually done on one of these before. So yeah, I definitely say the episode itself is worth a watch. Oh, look at that. It's a wee fancy magnetic flip box. Usually with these, where is it that does it? Insight. Usually with them, it's like your 2-part boxes. So let's see. Harness the magic of your tarot practice with this illustrated tarot deck inspired by the very deck seen in the Marvel television series Agatha All Along. Follow the Witch's Road alongside Agatha and her coven with this deck, featuring stunning artwork by the artist who illustrated the tarot cards seen in Marvel television's hit series Agatha All Along, and inspired by the show's memorable characters and moments. Rendered in a classic style, this full deck of major and minor arcana includes a detailed guidebook and is the perfect tool for all witches, regardless of experience. So, I mean, I can tell by looking that it's maybe not all the exact same images, because I know that a lot of the majors, it was just the Rider-Waite-Smith images that were used on the actual episode, but it looks like it's been the same. But some of them were different, like some of the minors were different, but it looks like it's been the same person who's illustrated both decks, which is cool. So the guidebook that we get nice big color representations of the cards. We're getting a decent amount of information for each card, which is great. Let's see, what kind of info do we get on tarot in general? So we get welcome to the coven, tarot basics, understanding court cards, reading reversals or not. So some pretty decent information. We can't tell the story of Agatha Harkness's journey down the Witch's Road without revisiting her past. The decisions she's made, the bonds she's severed, and the little boy that she did everything in her power to protect all play a role in her current tale. The first 6 cards of the major arcana represent archetypes, or the members of the coven Agatha assembles. The last 16 cards lead us through Agatha's past until the present moment. Are you ready, coven? It's time to head down the Witch's Road. That is really cool. I like that. So then we get our cards, and let's see, does it give us any spreads? Yeah, so there's a section on tarot readings. I like the artwork as well. I think it's quite good. Opening and closing a reading. What to ask. Getting started with spreads. So 1 card pull, 3 card pull. So which tarot spread? Now that you've joined the coven, it's time to discover your unique magic. Are you an ethereal divination witch like Lilia? Lilia is one of the characters in the show, by the way. a fiery protection witch like Alice, an intuitive potions witch like Jen, or perhaps you're the practical earth witch the coven has been waiting for. So this is one where it's saying go through your deck and sort out the major arcana in one pile and the minors in another. We're not going to be doing that. Lilia's Safe Passage Tarot spread. So this is the spread from that they use in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is a spread that they use in the actual show. And then about the author and about the illustrator. I really like that. That is really cool. So let's have a wee look at the deck then, without further ado. So the backs look like this, and that is how, I'm pretty sure that's the same as the backs on the deck in the actual show. The cardstock is your usual cardstock for these types of decks, so it's good matte, quite thick, quite chunky cardstock. The size of the cards, so I've got something to compare to. There we go. So I think the size is more or less, you can see it's just a bit broader, about the same height. So, but not far different from your usual Smithwaite, your usual kind of a US Games type size. Sorry, Simon, I'll leave your comment up. Oh, I didn't know this was out yet. At this rate, I might as well just give Cheryl my paycheck. I don't know if this is actually out just now. I think it's coming out soon. I think Cheryl sent me a wee advance copy for the ad, but check the website and see. I could be wrong there. Kristen just bought myself the Golden Klimt Tarot. I felt I need to treat myself. Good for you. Maybe watch WandaVision first. Yeah, I would probably say if you're going to watch the whole thing, then watch WandaVision first. Is Agatha a prequel? Sorry, a sequel? Kinda, yeah. There's lots of stuff that happens in WandaVision that's relevant to Agatha all along. Character first appears in WandaVision, yeah. Sets the stage and explains a few things. I'm going to have Down the Witch's Road playing in my head all night now. Only got it a few weeks ago. Yeah, Down the Witch's Road is it's a cool wee song, but it is quite it can quite easily get stuck in your head. Right, let me zoom this in a wee bit and I'll go through these. So I can say right away that not all of the cards are the same as the deck that we see, because as I say, we see some of the Rider-Waite-Smith images. So the fool here is Agatha herself, I believe. And then the magician is Kid or Wiccan. Quite like that. Look at the High Priestess. So as it says in the book, these are all characters from the show, part of Agatha's coven. The Hierophant, so that's Lilia, who we're talking about. The Lovers. I think the cards they use in the tarot themed episode were redesigns in the style of Pamela Coleman Smith, Rider-Waite-Smith, but changed to represent elements of the story. Yeah. But some of them were just the Rider-Waite-Smith images, so I'm sure the Rider-Waite-Smith magician was there. Yeah, I'm sure some of them were just RWS. Strength. So strength is number 8. Hermit. Wheel of Fortune. Justice. The style of the artwork seems very pixie-like. It does, doesn't it? Death. Death is cool. Temperance. Never watched the show. Looks like Bewitched house on the full card. Do you know, it may well kind of be, they do pull from different, different places. Chris is saying now what to watch the show. Star. The Moon. The world. So now we get to find out whether you know what I'm like with this dreaded semi-pip. I hate decks that are, it's like some of the minors are like pips and some of them are fully illustrated. If you're going to make a pip deck, then make a pip deck. If you're going to make a fully illustrated deck, then commit to illustrating the whole lot. Is my view on it. But that's just me. I'll maybe go a bit quicker through the minors, because obviously this wasn't intended to be a full walkthrough, but it has turned out to be. Ace of Wands. 2 is fully illustrated. The 3 is illustrated quite nicely. Got your 4. Oh, this is looking quite promising, guys. 5, the 6. 8, that's an interesting 8 of Wands. 9. So far, so good. See, so we've got King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Knight, and the Page. Yep. The 3. So in the series, they do like different, when they're walking down the Witch's Road, they do, I think it's like trials. And it seems like each suit is showing one of the kind of a trials. So that's one that we're seeing here as the trial that I was taught that's in the tarot episode. Ten of Swords. So yeah, it looks as though they've actually done a really, really good job of this deck in terms of, they seem to have made she's made a beautiful job of the images. They're all, from what we can see so far, fully illustrated. And as who was it that said that? As someone's pointed out, they are like really nicely done in Pixie's kind of style, which is nice for anyone that likes that style. And I know we have a few Pamela Coleman Smith fans in the chat. And finally, our cups. Where's my mouse? Death card is awesome, says Jen. Pretty World card 2. They actually used the same house exterior in WandaVision. Agatha was the actual same house. as was used in Bewitched. So there you go. And if you were to watch WandaVision, it kind of starts out where it's like in the style of Bewitched. Saoirse watching on an iPad screen, so it's hard to see. Was that moon card a seance? Let me show you the moon card again, Saoirse. Start the moon. I think it looks more to me like a kind of a town meeting type thing. I don't know if that's a seance. See what it says in the book. Okay, so young Nicky stands atop a table, his arms outstretched and a sweet grin on his face. He sings of the Witch's Road to a rapt audience. Disguised as a fellow patron, Agatha watches carefully. While the guests are reeled in by Nicky's charm, they are unaware of the witch waiting in the wings to manipulate them into giving up their powers. You've been through a lot on this journey, the moon. So yeah, it's not a seance. That I remember it from the show now. This is when Agatha basically uses her son. He's like kind of entertaining and wowing the crowd while she's kind of it's basically a con, is what they're doing, which is quite apt to the moon card, I suppose, with that kind of a deception side of things. You've been through a lot on this journey. The moon card shows up to remind you that there's no going back to who you once were. You can no longer ignore your instincts. Distortions are still at every turn. The answer is not found in logic and reason. Lean on your intuition, your values, and signs the universe is sending your way. Secrets will be revealed. I think that's quite cool. Now we get the keywords of secrets, illusions, and instinct for the moon. So that was the moon, Saoirse. Hope that was helpful. And then finally, our sort of cups. So king, our queen, our knight, and our page. And then, yep, all beautifully, fully illustrated. It's the Six of Cups. It looks more like a Seven of Cups to me. It's strange, isn't it? Because, yeah, that's obviously looks as though it's been inspired by the Seven of Cups, but it's the Six of Cups. So the dogs are barking again. Then we've got the Seven of Cups with the cups doing their usual thing, but then the background almost looks like it should maybe be like the Eight of Cups. So I don't know what's going on there. The Eight, someone's maybe packing a bag, is that? Nine of Cups. Interesting, because there's obviously kind of a Five of Cups vibes from that. And then the 10 shows everyone around the kitchen. So, what do we think? I think that she's actually done a really, really good job. Beautifully illustrated, all fully illustrated, full scenic, none of your semi-pip shite. Yeah, done really well in my opinion. Let's see how she shuffles. Yep, that is a bit thicker, so a bit more stiff, but the cardstock is kind of a, it's bendy, it's malleable enough to do a good riffle shuffle. Yeah, learned of pip decks, but you prefer picture cards. Great palette, nice finish. looks quite matte. Yeah, so the images are matte. It's not glossy at all. Like I'm shining a light directly on it and you can barely tell. The moon card is showing a scene where the boy is singing to the townsfolk. Yeah. I think it looks great. I'm not sure how well some of the scenes fit the actual cards, but that might add to the novelty of the deck. Yeah, that's fair. Probably one of the best of these fandom type decks. Yeah, definitely. Another one that I highly recommend, by the way, is the Buffy deck. I think the Buffy deck's been done really well. Who's the publisher? It's Insight Editions. I didn't want to get another fandom deck, but I feel I might need to have it. It looks lovely and not a limited colour scheme like a lot of them. Yeah. Yeah, they have. They've done a really good job, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And thanks again to Cheryl. If you watch this back, Cheryl, thanks. I really appreciate you sending this. So, right, where are we for time? We're at 20 past 10, so I've been on for about an hour. We can do a tarot spread, we can pull some cards, but the problem is I don't have a spread yet, which wasn't very prepared of me. I appreciate. So I'm going to have to quickly find one from somewhere. I'll pull that to the side. Chris says, made me want to see the show and buy the deck. Glad to have caught the unveiling of the packages. Oh, did you see that? Crystals, incense, and tarot. I'm glad, Chris. I'm glad that you enjoyed. Right, what tarot deck am I going to use? That's probably the best kind of a first question to answer for myself, isn't it? I've gotten a bunch of new decks recently. I got this a wee while ago. I actually got this from the Heebie Jeebie shop, which is the place that I got those crystals and the incense from. But I got this from them at one of the markets. So we could use this. I can actually check and see whether there's a spread. So I don't know if I said it. This is the Enchanted for Haxa tarot. Let's see if there's a spread here that we can use. Quick like a fairy spread. I created this spread for my daily readings for the collective and find it to be quick, while at the same time offering a great amount of information and insight. Yeah, so this is a wee 4-card spread, so I think this will do us nicely. So let me show you it. So this is the quick like a fairy spread, so you can see what the positions are going to be. But I'll put them in the chat as we do them. So who's pulling cards with me? I'm not on my own, am I? Have I got some people here that are going to pull some cards? What deck are you using? Tony, I'm using the Flower Child Tarot, purchased last week. It's colourful. This is a very thick, difficult to riffle shuffle deck. And to be honest, that's the reason that I put off getting it for so long, is because I knew I wasn't going to be able to use it as a proper workhorse deck because of how, like, maybe after I've used it a while it'll break it in and it'll be easier, but like I like to properly riffle shuffle my decks, so I like a deck that's kind of that's on the thinner side in terms of card stock, to be honest with you. When they're thicker like this, it just gives me sore hands. Let's see. Trisha's going to give the show a go. Brilliant. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm using the star and the stud. That's you've been posting pictures on, is it Facebook with that deck, haven't you? It was maybe in Simon's group with the card of the week. That deck looked really nice. It looked quite clear. I'll need to check that out actually. Chris is pulling cards. You've got the animals, the Orion's Animal Tarot. Very nice. Deanne is home now and pulling cards from Tarot of Oneness, the mini one. Right, Robin Voicey probably. Roscoe is using the trimmed every little thing you do is magic. Very nice. Okay. Oh, I lost the page in the book. Oops. There we go. So, as I say, this is the Quick Like a Fairy tarot spreads. MJ Cullinan's spread, and it's from the guidebook for the Enchanted for Haxa Tarot. So I'm just trying to get this so that it stays at the page. So let me just take a quiet moment of shuffling and not talking. Okay. So the first I've just seen Deanne's. Vela just said, is Chris your new boss? Because she knows today was my boss's last day. Aww. And she says, hi Chris. Hi Vela. Hi Vela. Everyone say hi to Vela. I'll use the other hand so she... Oh, I can't see her. Hi. And is Max there too, or is it just you and Vela hanging out? Vela, where's Max? Where is he? Where's Max? Where's your big brother? Oh, I'm getting a big smile. Am I getting a big, beautiful smile? Max is here, he's gaming. Oh, fair enough. I hope he's having fun. Right. Kristen is back from feeding the kitties. I'm using the Golden Clint. Very nice. Guess I'll try it with the pre-Raphaelite tarot. Don't know if I'm saying that right. Kristen's saying hi, Vela. And Max says, hey, Chris. He's so cool. Right. Let's see. I'm going to have to move the keyboard over just to type this first prompt. So card number 1. So I have got the 7 of Water. And it is the influence and energy. So the influence and energy. So the book says, what is influencing your behavior? Is it internal forces, outside forces, or an experience? So for me, the 7 of Water, let's look at what we've got happening. We've got a mermaid who appears to be sitting on the moon looking at the stars. So very much encapsulated by the stars in the sky. And the way that the picture's depicted, it almost looks as though they're holding the star in their hand. The 7 of Water for me is about the power of your imagination. So sometimes it can run away with itself and it becomes about illusion. But sometimes, our imaginations are a powerful tool. Okay, so sometimes it's that exciting fantasy, imaginative side of ourselves that's being depicted by this card. But I think for me, it's probably more internal because it's a water card. And what it does indicate is that the things that are maybe influencing, what is influencing your behavior? So what's influencing my behavior it might not be that I'm reacting to facts and things that are actually happening. It might more be about like kind of our feelings and internal stuff, and maybe stuff that isn't quite how things are. So that's maybe something that I need to watch, is that I might be, and if maybe we look at this as a bit of a spread for the coming weekend, I might be prone to reacting in ways that might not make sense to others, because I seem to be reacting to the world that I've created inside my head rather than what's actually going on, if that makes sense. So I suppose it's, having a powerful imagination is a good thing, but I just need to watch that if that's driving my behaviour. See, Diane, you've got the Three of Wands, and it's a view from a sailboat. So your perspective, so you're reacting to, what's driving your behaviour is kind of what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. So contrary to me, what's driving me is this illusion, this kind of a cloud that I've got my head in. You seem to be reacting to your perspective and to your observations and, how you're seeing things. So that seems pretty positive and a pretty good headspace to be in, to be honest. Beth just ordered the pocket size for Haxa from MJ yesterday. Very nice. Verdiad, you've got the Nine of Swords, so very logical, very rational, but just be careful of overthinking, I guess. With the Nine of Swords, what could be driving you as like your, the fear factor. It could be like how the Nine of Swords could be like how overthinking a situation impacts on your well-being and stuff. So if that's what's kind of a driving you at the moment, just be careful. Don't get too much in your head about things, and don't let that influence how you interact, I guess. Your influencing energy for everywhere after is the Four of Wands. So that fours are stability, aren't they? And the Four of Wands tends to be the home card, so it's that kind of a safe space, I guess. Excuse me. Let's take a wee drink. So that's quite a nice influence to have around about you, I guess, is that Four of Wands. Four of Wands tends to depict like a celebration, doesn't it? You're celebrating how far you've come so far, your achievements. So definitely a good influence to have around about you. And the Nine of Wands for Tony. So Tony, you recently retired, didn't you? So that Nine of Wands is like, the influence and energy. It could be telling you that your journey that you've been on so far is still very much playing a factor in what's influencing you. It could well be telling you that maybe you're not allowing yourself to fully explore the potential, the potential that you have right now, all the things you can move forward and do, because those Nine Wands, that journey that's come before you, is very much still an influencing factor for you. And obviously your kind of your experiences and stuff from that are always going to be part of you. But with the Nine of Wands, it often depicts someone who's battle wounded and scarred and stuff, and sometimes they can be a bit bitter about the past because you're very much seeing how it's affected them in a negative way. So maybe the influencing factor for you, it might be that the kind of a negative stuff is maybe affecting you a wee bit more right now. So I suppose just something to be aware of. Orozco, you've got the Three of Swords, basically doing my own head in, self-made anguish. Yeah. The Three of Swords is like the battle between the swords, which is the mind, and the heart, which is the head, isn't it? So it can be quite a difficult place to be. And the Ten of Wands for Kristen, the subtle subtly arrogant belief that I can carry something all on my own without turning to others for assistance. Yeah. And the King of Cups for Chris, it makes sense for me. The picture is a single flamingo standing in water with the moon silhouette. The moon silhouette and the cup on its back. Very nice. So yeah, that King of Wands. King of Wands for me is like the very very emotionally mature, but also very, very kind of a balanced and or good at staying neutral in emotional situations. So you're probably, if this is your influencing factor, then you're probably a really good sounding board for people, Chris. You're probably a really, really diplomatic and really good at staying neutral. Probably quite good at being like quite it's almost like, you know, the negotiator. It's like the, you know, the person that they come to when you know, we don't know what the right way to do things is. I'm not phrasing that very well. But that's a nice card. And yeah, fair dad, you're saying there's quite a lot of nines coming up. Yeah, 9 of Swords, we get the 9 of Wands. True. Yeah, we got a couple of 9s there, didn't we? And Tony, you're saying that's spot on. So yeah, so let's see what the other cards are for you then. So that was our first card, which was our influencing factor. The second card is the situation. Judgment. So two is the situation. Have I spelt that right? No, I've not. It's only going to annoy me if I don't fix it. So for situation, it says, what is the situation on the horizon? Consider how the influence and energy will impact the situation. So for me, the situation is judgment. And we see the thing that we see here is like the spirit being released from the, you know, the vessel, the body. Judgment for me is very like it's when we come to realize something and we kind of it's like a big aha moment, and it lets us kind of just address all of the stuff that's been happening, draw a line and move on. So judgment can be a big, it's not so much, it is a change, but it's not so much about the change. It's more like the change in us, the change in our perspective. You know, it's like the kind of the thing that I always come back to for judgment is like being unplugged from the Matrix. If you've seen the Matrix films, that moment when Neo is unplugged from the Matrix and actually comes to realize what everything is really like, that is a judgment moment. You know, that's like that big aha moment. It's like all of a sudden you're able to experience things as they actually are. I suppose that follows quite nicely from the 7, because if the 7 represents this kind of my head's in the clouds and there's a bit of illusion around about me, then judgment, to follow on from that, I suppose represents being cut off from that illusion and moving on from that and actually you know, seeing things as they are. So that's quite a nice resolution to this, I guess. Sorry, 2 seconds. Sorry, I had to mute until the dogs to be quiet there. Okay, Roscoe, you've got the High Priestess, and your first card was the 3 of Swords. So the situation you've got is the High Priestess. The High Priestess can be, when I see the High Priestess beside the 3 of Swords, I'm thinking of someone who's maybe a bit detached, who's maybe has a bit of a natural introvert, and they're naturally quite they're good at, you know, being removed. They're good at detaching themselves from the situation and maybe not saying too much unless they have to. And it might be that because of the kind of the influencing factors, that kind of an emotional situation with the Three of Swords, that's creating this bit of a situation with the High Priestess where we're maybe feeling a bit more frosty. But with that said, the nice thing about that detachment and that quiet that comes with the High Priestess is it really lets us connect with ourselves and go deep, and connect to our instinct and our intuition and our own kind of inner wisdom, I guess. So yeah, like reading those two cards together, you might be, Roscoe, you might be in a bit of a place right now where you're maybe feeling a bit distanced, a bit detached. But for me, what that's telling you is to, we'll see what the cards that come up are after this, but use that as an opportunity to really kind of get in touch with yourself and your own inner knowing. Ferdiad, you've got the Seven of Pentacles. So let's see, what was your first one? Was the Nine of Swords, which was a bit of an overthinking situation. The Seven of Pentacles, so the Seven of Pentacles suggests that you're in a bit of a, for me, it's like waiting for the Seven of Pentacles. It's like it's important to wait for the right time to do something, to act. The Seven of Pentacles is about those things in life that, you can't rush them. They take how long they take. In the card, we see someone who's growing crops. And when you're growing crops, if you try and harvest them too early, then obviously you're going to end up with rubbish. Like baking a loaf of bread, baking anything, I guess, but baking bread is another kind of you need patience. You need to do everything at the right time. Investing money. With investments, it's about, waiting for the right time before, doing whatever it is that you're going to do, whether it's selling shares or whatever. It's very kind of there's a right time to do things and a not so right time. And given that you've got that Nine of Swords, what that tells me is that you might see you're in a bit of a situation where you need to, the time needs to be right, but you're overthinking things, and that might cause you to act a bit rashly. So I suppose it's a good thing to be aware of, and just be mindful that if you do feel yourself wanting to kind of pull out of something or wanting to, act because of the thoughts in your head are go round in circles and you're like, no, I need to pull that bread out the oven or, sell those shares or whatever it is. It's not about saying don't do that. It's just about saying, right, okay, there's a right time to do this. Look at it logically. Is this the right time? Tony, so following the Nine of Wands, you've got Strength. Okay, so both quite fiery cards, but then Strength is quite to me, Strength is quite a powerful and positive card. It's a positive force. It's all about, having confidence, I guess. Maybe finding your confidence again. And Strength, the way, depending on how it's illustrated in your deck, but often we see someone who's kind of interacting with or wrestling with or taming a lion or some kind of animal. And to me, both the animal and the person both represent a part of ourselves. And how sometimes we can kind of wrestle with our own thoughts and wrestle with our own kind of different parts of ourselves where we want to let that lion out sometimes, but then sometimes that lion comes out a wee bit too much and it embarrasses us and we think, oh, I made a fool of myself there, and we rein the lion back in again. So I'm trying to bring all that together. But yeah, if your first card was saying, you've been through a lot of stuff and it's maybe you're letting the kind of what's happened in the past influence how you go forward. Maybe the Strength card is telling you, right, the situation is you're kind of at a place where you're getting your confidence back and your belief in yourself back again. Diane, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, which is a labyrinth about to begin walking through. What was your first card, Deanne? Oh, the Three of Wands, yeah, the view from that sailboat. Right, okay, so interestingly, so the Wheel of Fortune card that springs to mind for me, you know, in the Marielle, the Wheel of Fortune card is the goddess Fortuna, and it shows her on a boat, navigating the seas of chaos. I think I'm remembering that right. So it's just interesting that your first card is the view from a boat, and then like a sailboat, and then your second card is the Wheel of Fortune. So it kind of suggests to me that what your situation, what's happening with you right now. So if it's the Wheel of Fortune, then it's probably quite positive and things are moving in quite a good direction, but it's very much, we just need to hang on for dear life here and hope that the universe has got our back. We don't really have much control here. And your perspective, your viewpoint, the influence and energy is just like your perspective from that place. Card 2, so your situation is the Emperor. Forever Whereafter, and your first card was the Four of Wands. So 2 4s. So that's a very stable and very fiery as well, because the Emperor links to Aries, so it is quite a fiery card. So 2 very stable cards and the element of fire for you so far. So I don't know whether this is maybe kind of linking into your career, or if you're not a career person, maybe it's like your vocation or whatever it is that sparks passion in you. But very much things feel very kind of in control and very stable right now, which potentially is quite a good place to be in. So Kristen, you've got the Four of Cups. So 4s mean stability, but in the Cups, it's about being too stable, being stuck emotionally in a situation, possibly fixating on how things should be and not what they are. Right, okay. Deanne says, definitely about my work stuff, and I think it's a good sign. When I started this job, when I transferred to my current section, there was no manager, and now I'm about to be in that same situation. Weird, I typed what you just said about the 4, yeah. Chris, you've got, so King of Cups was your first card, and now you've got the Sun, and the picture is capybara on a bed of sunflowers, moon cycles imprinted on the animal with sacred geometry as the sun. Sorry, I love pictures. No, don't apologise. I think we all love pictures. That's why we do this, isn't it? But yeah, the Sun, if the Sun is your kind of a situation card, then that's a pretty good situation to be in. So the Sun is like that. You've found your happy place. You found that sense of joy and that sense of self-worth as well. Remember, the Sun is about that sense of like joy in yourself. It's not just toxic joy. It's not just happy for happy's sake. Happy for happy's sake is nice. It's not necessarily toxic, but it's not just like kind of joyful. It's like, it's finding a bit of confidence and belief in yourself and the sense of joy that brings. So that's really nice, and it links in nicely with your first card, that King of Cups. Jen's got to get going and start her day. It's been awesome seeing you. Sending love to all. It's been lovely seeing you too, Jen. Thanks very much for popping in. I hope that you and Dean and Carl and Chloe and all of the fur babies are doing well. Mine is about a particular relationship. I just can't bring myself to open my mouth about a situation because I'm too fixated on what I wish it would be. Right, okay, so if that's about a relationship, Kristen, your situation is the Four of Cups, so maybe starting to feel a wee bit, things are feeling a bit stale, starting to feel a bit emotionally meh. And then your first card was the Ten of Wands, so the influence and energy. So things are maybe quite overwhelming right now, and that's maybe what's leading to that feeling of being like a bit turned off by the whole thing. So yeah, that's a shame. Very interesting to see what other cards you pull though, Kristen, because there's an advice card coming up. Let's see. I love that you think I have shares. I was just using that as an example. And I suppose today we were talking about shares and share saves and stuff in work, and I was looking at my own share saves and stuff, so that was maybe why that example was fresh in my mind. Yeah, the Orion's Animal Tarot is a nice deck, so it is. Fair Dad. I definitely recommend checking it out. I think I can show you what it looks like. It's here somewhere. So this is the box here. So yeah, I'm not going to go and start going through it, open up another deck and start mingling with another deck whilst I'm using this. That's just going to confuse things. But glad I've been able to find this deck. I prefer to see nature. Yeah. Do you have the Wild Unknown, Chris? That's quite a nice deck if you like nature and animals and stuff. Let's see. Tony, Strength. Sorry, yeah, I've not done card 3 yet because I'm slow. Ben's here. Hi, Ben. How are you? It's lovely to see you. I touched the screen again, so you sent that without meaning to, right? Okay. Ben of Biscuits. Yeah, Meh is a great descriptor of it. Yeah, that kind of is the Meh card, isn't it? The Four of Cups. Let's see. Beth says, hey, Kristen, do you ever use the Lilith deck? That red, black, and white Kickstarter? And I always associate that deck with you. Really? The Animals Orion's Animal Tarot. That's funny. I suppose I do a giveaway of it, didn't I? Years ago. The Wild Unknown, going to have quite the list of this to do this week. Yeah, the Wild Unknown Tarot was a very, very popular tarot deck. It was popular maybe about 10 years ago when it came out. It just kind of hit the masses and became really popular. So it's by a lady called Kim Kranz, and she's actually done an oracle, kind of a Wild Unknown Animal Oracle, I think it's called. I don't know. But yes, it's got an animal deck equivalent to it, like an oracle deck with animals. Words are failing me. I'm starting to get tired. Although I fell asleep on the couch earlier on, so I've got a cheek to be tired. Yeah, the Orions. Spirit Song also has a lot of animals. Right, okay. Position 3 is an external influence. So I have got the 3 of Fire. So 3 is external. Influence. Okay, I'm looking at the actual card here. This 3 of Fire looks quite different to what a lot of 3 of Wands usually look. Although we do still see someone who seems to be kind of looking out at you know, she's got fire coming out her hands. It's quite a fiery scene that we see in the background. So maybe she's kind of put this energy out into the universe, and now she's kind of surveying that, which I suppose is what the Three of Wands tends to be about. If this is the external factor, it almost looks like this is saying, like, because look, the forest seems to be on fire, so it's like the world is like burning down around about you, and that's your external factor. Thanks very much for that. Now I've just lost a family member, I suppose. And there are, naturally there are changes happening. I wouldn't quite describe it as the world's burning around about me. That's maybe a wee bit the tarot being dramatic to make its point. But yeah, it is quite a catastrophic looking scene, isn't it, for a Three of Fire? Let's see what you folks are. Whoops. I'm looking forward to the Verdance Tarot. Same artist who did Shadowscapes, very dreamy with lots of animals, Llewellyn. So I can shuffle it. Good. Okay, so for Ferdiad, you've got the Ten of Cups as your external. So externally, it seems that you're supported, that everything looks quite good. It's more your kind of internal factors, I guess, that are creating a wee bit of chaos for you. So I suppose that's good to know, that as much as there might be a wee bit of internal turmoil, the universe has got your back. The people around about you that matter, that make up your safe space, have got your back. Seems like you're very much loved and supported. It's just about your perspective, I guess, is the way that I would take that, Ferdiad. I don't know about you, if you see something different. Your external factor, Deanne, is the Two of Wands. And so your situation was this wheel where you're navigating the labyrinth. And the Two of Wands, it will depend on what that looks like as to how that is your external factor, won't it? Let's see, strength and then death for Tony. So, okay, so there's big changes around about you, Tony. Big changes that you don't really have much control over right now, and that's, so that's the external. That's stuff that you don't really have much influence over, which might explain why you're feeling a bit like, why you're latching on to some of the previous hurts, the kind of a previous stuff that's, those wounds and those scars, that type of thing. So you've got the Elder of Pentacles, which is the King for Roscoe. I think this is all referring to me coming to the end of the final project of my degree, and the external influence is my tutor. Female but very kingly. Oh, very nice. That's nice. It's nice to have a nice, strong, a nice, strong guiding figure like that as a tutor. So the Ten of Wands is your external. So picture is a beaver using the wands as a dam over water. Note that the beaver is coloured to look like a fire over the wands. Love this. Yeah, usually we tend to associate that Ten of Wands card as being quite, there's quite quite a lot that you're taking on. You've got quite a lot. It's a burden card, you've got quite a lot on your plate type card. It does sound though as though the image in your card is maybe a bit different. So yeah, if it's like a beaver building a dam, then I mean a dam, I suppose, is meant to stop the flow of water, isn't it? So there probably is quite a lot of pressure that's been put on you from the outside. But based on your first two cards, Chris, it sounds like you're in a really good place to deal with that pressure, and in a really good place to cope with, those 10 wands. So as much as externally there might be quite a lot that you have to deal with right now, you're in a really good place and you're really well abled to deal with it, is what I would say. So that should hopefully give you a wee bit of confidence in your own abilities, and it's basically like a pat on the back. It's saying that you've got this and you're doing a good job, and just continue to do so. So forever whereafter, your external influence is the High Priestess. So we had all that stability, the Four of Wands. The situation was the Emperor, and the Emperor kind of tends to bring control to things, doesn't it? It tends to bring order out of chaos. The external factor being the High Priestess makes me think a wee bit like maybe, like, I don't know if the High Priestess is the external factor. If your cards are ringing true for a particular situation in your life right now in your head, then maybe the High Priestess is someone who is influencing the situation but is doing so from a distance. You know, what I was saying earlier about how the High Priestess can be quite detached and sometimes they don't say very much. So it might be that there's someone around about you in the particular situation who maybe it feels as though they're not saying very much and they're kind of watching from a distance. But remember how wise and how the High Priestess represents all of the knowledge in the world. And as much as they might be quite quite silent sometimes, and how they might not just give everything to you on a platter, like their wisdom is, absolutely like it can take you so far. So don't underestimate that, even if it's not even if you have to coax it out of them sometimes. They could be a really powerful guide and help to you, is the way that I would maybe take that. So Kristen, after your Four of Cups, your external factor is the Eight of Wands. So about the particular relationship, I'm unsure how to read it. I feel pummeled from above. That's more internal though. I think the Eight of Wands, when that's the external factor, if we're not riding that Eight of Wands energy, if that represents external and that those Eight Wands are coming towards us, then that's overwhelming as fuck. So it is. So that suggests that the external for you is there's quite a lot happening and you're feeling quite overwhelmed by it. It feels like a lot's hitting you at once type thing. That's maybe how I would read that. Let's see. Emmy, you had the Knight of Swords, the Strength card, and now you've got the King of Wands. Okay. So again, strength is your situation, is like finding that confidence, that balance, I guess. Your King of Wands is the external factor. That could be, again, that could be a person who is a factor. If this is a particular situation that this is ringing true for you. So someone who's, quite experienced and maybe quite charismatic and could be helpful to the situation. I feel like the 2 is the new manager coming in. Whenever that happens, it's a lens or a magnifying glass looking out. Oh, right, okay. Whenever that happens, and the picture is it's a lens or a magnifying glass looking out at the horizon. Okay. So Tony, you're saying, yep, the stories that you could tell, right? Okay. Lots of irons in the fire, many things you could do, but you have to pick one, put it in action, and hope that it hits the mark. Even if it's a miss, taking action means that you've succeeded. Beth, happy to hear about her dance. I'm out of the loop. Amy says, I'm thinking my card, the King of Wands, is me having a seat and start bossing people around instead of having to be the strength card all the time. Absolutely. I mean, the thing about the King of Wands is you're still continuing with that element of fire. So there's, the King of Wands, it's part of him, his heart's always in the action and being in and about things, but he is a king at the end of the day. And he does have a certain level of responsibility to make sure to oversee things and make sure that everything's going okay. So it could represent that kind of that line between, being involved and taking a step back and delegating for a change, definitely. I have to make a choice in regards to bringing up my issues with a particular person in exactly 1.5 hours when I see her. I'm panicking. Well, the last card is going to be the advice card, Kristen, so I think I'm interested to see what that card is for you, because it looks as though you're feeling quite overwhelmed by it, and I suppose maybe just a wee bit turned off by the whole thing. So let's, when we pull that card 4, we'll see what advice the cards have got for you. Spot on with everything so far. Very much enjoying this. Good. I'm glad. But remember, it's your spread. You're the one pulling it. I'm just helping you interpret it. Wishing you well with whatever the outcome is. Hopefully another card will give you some perspective. Yeah, hopefully. Right, here we go then. Card 4 as the advice. So for me, where are my cards? For me, I have got the 5 of Fire. 5 of Fire. I'm pretty sure the way I turned that round there, it came out reversed. But the 5 of Fire. And number 4 is the advice. I'm going to leave it reversed actually, because it came out to me that way for a reason, I'm assuming. So for me, to just recap the story, I guess the 7 of Water represented kind of maybe having my head in the clouds a wee bit, and the Judgment card is like, right, there's something that's happening to drag my head out of the clouds, show me the situation as it is and let me move on from there with a more clear perspective. The 3 of Fire, so having that clearer perspective, it now feels like I've realised that it might feel like the world's burning down around about me, So it's like whatever that shift in perspective, it's like it's actually making you see that things are really a bit shit. And then the advice, well, it feels like the advice might be telling me to, sometimes the answer is to, like Stonewall started because Stonewall was a riot when it started, wasn't it? Pride started as a riot. So sometimes the way that we instigate things and the way that we kick things off is by being a bit cunty, it is by throwing that first brick. So maybe this being the advice is telling me, like, sometimes you just do have to open your mouth and call someone out. I'm one of these people that doesn't really enjoy conflict. I tend to avoid conflict if I can, but sometimes it can't be avoided. Sometimes you just need to kind of be willing to go there. So yeah, this is all very dramatic and might be a spread that I need to sit with, to be honest. Okay, so the advice for Ferdiad is the Magician. Okay. So interesting, because with the 9 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles, it was very much felt like it was saying, right, let's think about when is the appropriate time to act, and are you overthinking things, and is that causing you to act perhaps before it would be good for you? And then again, the 10 of Cups suggests that your external factors, your environment does seem to be in a very good place. And the Magician to me is like, it links to Mercury, and Mercury's very fast moving and very action based. as is the magician. We see him literally like, well, I'm thinking of the Smithwick deck here now though, but like we see him channeling energy from the heavens and bringing it down into earth. So we do see someone who's acting now. So maybe the advice for you is now, you know, in that Seven of Pentacles situation, now is the time to cash in those shares, or, you know, to pull that bread out the oven or whatever it is. The magician for me would very much be like, right, act now, you know. So that's quite an interesting wee resolution, actually. Roscoe for the Four of Swords. Nice one, I'll have a nap. Yeah. Yeah, it could well be a nap, taking a bit of a break from the situation. So that last card, the external factor, you're coming to the end of your final project for your degree, and you were seeing that elder as your project supervisor or your project tutor. And then the advice is the Four of Swords. So yeah, I mean, I did a degree myself. I did, in my fourth year, I did a dissertation, and in my fifth year, I did a thesis. So I know exactly what it's like, and I know how mentally taxing it can be. So yeah, I guess the advice for you is, like, remember, you need to recharge your batteries. That time is really important. Tony, the Six of Swords. So Tony, maybe your advice, maybe you're needing a wee bit of maybe some time away. It definitely seems to be indicating that you need to get your head out of the situation that it's in and get your head into a clearer headspace. So whether that's like, right, you need to go on a wee holiday and just clear your mind, or whether you need to speak to someone and talk about the situation, just to kind of get that perspective, you know, get that mental headspace, kind of a mental headspace, get that mental clarity, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But you need to find some way of taking your mind out of that kind of a defensive Nine of Wands situation and moving it from those kind of a choppy waters that we see in the Six of Swords into the calmer place, you know, where we see things more clearly and where we're more able to, you know, react to things proportionately, you know. So that's the advice for you. So maybe it is like an actual wee holiday that you need to take. Maybe you need to kind of book a wee caravan somewhere at the seaside like we've just done, and go up and just chill and enjoy yourself. Perspective, the Hanged Man, and it's a shot of 7 hot air balloons in flight. Okay, so if your advice card is perspective, then that seems to be pretty clear. I mean, when you got the Wheel of Fortune as your second card, and like the Wheel of Fortune is, in a sense, it's about perspective. When it comes to the Wheel of Fortune can be quite tumultuous. It can be like sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world, and sometimes you feel like you're at the bottom of the wheel and everything's getting on top of you. And that's just the way that the Wheel of Fortune works. The wheel kind of continues to turn, and we'll go on to have some of those really good days and some of those really bad days. And the advice that I suppose that comes with the Wheel of Fortune is to recognise that we can't control everything. There are things that we can control, and there are things that we don't have any control over. And it's when we learn to appreciate and differentiate between those two things, that's when we can learn to put all of our energy into the controlling the controllables and accepting the things that we can't control. What actually happens in terms of like the analogy of the wheel is we find ourselves not at the edge of the wheel where we kind of feel the extremes, but we find ourselves moving to the center of the wheel where we do get that perspective, and we can see and appreciate the goods and the bads and all that, but we're not as affected by it. And that comes with experience, you know. as we gain more life experience and we move forward through our journey, that we kind of slowly but surely, or this is the idea of our kind of a spiritual development, we slowly but surely move towards the centre of the Wheel of Fortune so that we're not as affected by the extremes. And like you can imagine, if you're on a wheel, if you're standing in the centre and that wheel is turning, you're going to be much less affected by it than if you're standing at the edge, you know. So that perspective card actually feels pretty apt for that position. So Tony, you're saying, yeah, put the past behind you, get in my boat and sail forward. Definitely. Just try to remember to breathe deeply. I know it sounds simplistic, but when we breathe deeply, it really helps us think more clearly. And that was for Kristen. Okay, Kristen, your advice is the Page of Wands. So maybe be willing to take risks. Just open my damn mouth and throw caution to the wind. Yeah, definitely be willing to take risks. But also, like, if this is advice on how in that like 90 minutes to come in 1.5 hours when you are, you know, approaching that situation, to me, the Page of Wands, yeah, the Page of Wands would be telling you to, you know, approach it with an open mind. Approach it like a page would, like the Page of Wands would. So pages they're kind of enthusiastic, they're adventurous, they're filled with energy. They're quite new courts, so they don't really have they're not tarnished by all of this past experience, you know. So it's almost like having you know, it's about being open and not coming at it with all these preconceptions about the way things are, and maybe being open to understanding things from the other person's perspective as well. But equally, like you say, it's about, you know, it's about having that bravery. So Wands is like the kind of a bravery suit, isn't it? That fieriness. Being brave enough to call things out as they are. But also when I see Page of Wands, I think of ideas. You know, the Page of Wands is the ideas guy. So I suppose being willing to, being open to ideas about how to move forward with the situation as well. But yeah, so sometimes like with these situations, we kind of almost have to just play dumb in a way and let the situation unfold as it wants to unfold, rather than coming into it with like already having had the argument in your head and thinking that you know what that person's going to say and what their point of view is. So I suppose the Page of Wands might be saying, like, just, you know, be open, play dumb, you know, take things from scratch, and just be willing to kind of be as positive as you can be about the situation. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, that card for you. So whatever we're after, your advice card is the Four of Coins. So your situation was the Emperor that's bringing order to... So you've got 3 4s in your spread. So this is all about stability and structure for you, I feel. So I don't think that things are like things aren't really... It's not about like introducing massive changes for you, I feel. It's about keeping the status quo. It's about keeping the, you know, what you've worked hard to build. It's about keeping that, you know, keeping that strong and steady. Another stable 4, yeah, exactly. Beth, how are you? Been a long time since I've been around. Chris, you've got the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups. So the picture is a poodle sitting in a cushion. Background is the night sky, and there is an amulet of gold and ruby on the poodle. all 4 cards show single animals. I actually looked through the deck to check if they all were. The fairy path spread, yeah, this is the quick like a fairy spread. So yeah, your 9 of Cups, your advice. I mean, the 9 of Cups, to me, that is the advice card. Seems to be asking you to lean into. So see that fullness that you're feeling right now with your Sun card and your King of Cups. Lean into that and really draw from that well. That serves you well. Yeah, the 9 of Cups is quite a high water card, the element of water, so quite emotional. So that emotional maturity that's represented by the King of Cups, that will serve you well. But also, I feel that the 9 of Cups can be quite a social card. And you're saying it shows a poodle. Dogs are quite social creatures. So it might be a good time to interact with the people around about you and not be in a hermit place. So make sure that you are allowing yourself time to be a social creature and be with, like whether it's family or, whoever your tribe are. It's a good time to be with them and to draw energy from that as well, is what I would say. Feel open to what comes next. That's good. The Page of Wands sounds like the person needs to hear the message and you need to deliver it. Yeah. Very curious. I should approach it with curiosity and not baggage. Yeah, definitely. That's a really good way of summing that up, actually. I should approach it with curiosity and not baggage. I love that. Beth, I'm good. I had a knee issue since February, but I'm still teaching yoga. I'm using cabbage poultices on my knee and have an acupuncture appointment. Sorry. I'm sorry to hear about your knee, Beth. I never thought about pages as being something like the Fool. Yeah, definitely, because they're the first court. So they're the youngest of the courts in the same way that the Fool is the youngest of the major arcana, So they are both kind of a cards of initiation and of like kind of a coming into something anew. Always a good idea. Curiosity, yeah. Quick like a fairy spread, yeah. So that's our spread, folks. Those are our cards, and that's us been going for a couple of hours now. So for those of you that aren't in the Facebook group, I've created a Facebook group for us to post our spreads. So rather than we can still do it on Instagram and stuff, and definitely if you do it on Instagram, then continue to tag me and all that. But I wanted us to have like a group where we could kind of post this stuff. So what I'll do, I will pop the link to the Facebook group in the chat for anyone who wants to join it. You're all absolutely more than welcome. It is a private Facebook group. So people won't be able to see what you're posting in there. So if you're maybe a bit like me, where you're maybe in the tarot closet a wee bit, and you don't want everyone seeing all your tarot stuff you're posting, don't worry, no one can see it as long as you're posting it in the group. I'm just looking to get onto my Facebook so that I can post a link for you. So Ferdiad, you're already on there and you're posting yours now. Brilliant. Oh gosh, sometimes you get Facebook memories that pop up. So I've just had one pop up from 15 years ago, and boy, do I look young. Anyway, let's see. Groups. So it's called Elemental Cartomancers. And there are a couple of wee questions to answer when you join the group. All good, so I can see that a couple of you have already posted your spreads, so that's brilliant. I'm excited to go on and have a proper look at them. But let me just share a link so that if you want to, you can come and join the group. The Mummy Monster's here and says hi. Hello, the Mummy Monster. It's lovely to have you. Oh yeah, just literally just post on mine now. Good fun tonight. Thanks, Chris and everyone. Time for that extended Four of Swords sleep now. Brilliant. Thanks, Roscoe. It was lovely to have you. Aside from the actual human rights stuff, I did used to do private spaces. Those worried. Just saying. Fair enough. Late one tonight, but it's been fab. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. Israel, a set of words. Not sure if I'm fully catching on to what you're getting at, Mummy Monster, but I think it might be because I'm quite tired and my brain's starting to turn into mush. But thank you very much for popping on. It's lovely to have you here. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's been here. I've thoroughly enjoyed reading with you today. I should be on next week, and then it's the week after I've said I won't be. So I'll hopefully see you all again next week. Have an amazing weekend and take care of yourselves. Come and post your spread in the Facebook group, and you can post on Instagram and tag me. I would love to see your cards. But yeah, take care. Lots of love. Bye, everyone.